the heart of the Nile, long before the grandeur of Rome, before the rise of Athens, and even before the Egyptian pyramids reached their peak. There existed a land south of Egypt, a land of gold, warriors, and kings. This was Nubia, and at its heart lay the kingdom of Kush. Its people were tall, dark-skinned, proud, and deeply spiritual. They lived along the fertile banks of the Nile, where the desert kissed the river and history flowed like water. Around 2000 BCE, Nubian tribes began to consolidate power. The first great city, Kerma, rose in the region. Here in the heat of the desert and under the watchful gaze of the gods, the Kushites forged an identity, fierce, independent, and resilient. They built vast tombs, crafted pottery of elegant design, and conducted rituals that honored their ancestors. Kerma became a rival to Egypt. When Egypt weakened during its second intermediate period, Kush rose like the sun at dawn. For a time, Nubian archers and charioteers pushed north, seizing trade routes and claiming oases. The Egyptians labeled them Kushites, the land of the bow, in fearful admiration of their unmatched archery skills. Shadows of Empire Egypt eventually reconquered Nubia under Pharaoh Thutmose I around 1500 BCE. Turning it into a colony, the Kushites, however, endured. They absorbed Egyptian religion, language, and architecture, but maintained their Nubian soul. In time, the Kushite capital moved further south to Napata, nestled beneath the sacred Jebel Barkal, a mountain believed to be the home of Amun, the god of kingship. From here, Kush quietly rebuilt. By 800 BCE, Egypt itself had fractured. Civil war, corruption, and foreign invaders had left the once mighty kingdom in shambles. It was then that Kush rose again. The Nubian ascendancy. From Napata came a warrior priest-king named Pi. A devout follower of Amun, Pi saw a divine mission in the chaos of Egypt, to restore divine order. In 747 BCE, Pi launched a daring campaign northward. His army swept across the Nile Valley like a righteous storm. He took Thebes, Memphis, and Delta cities. Rather than destroy, he purified, offering sacrifices to Egyptian gods, restoring temples, and binding the lands under one crown. Pi called himself the uniter of the two lands. He became pharaoh, and thus began the 25th dynasty of Egypt, the Kushite dynasty, ruled by Nubian kings, black pharaohs of Egypt. Pi's successors, Shabaka, Taharka, and Tanudamani, ruled Egypt with a blend of Nubian and Egyptian traditions. They were fierce warriors, wise administrators, and devout temple builders. They saw themselves as heirs to Egypt's sacred legacy. Taharka, the most famous of them, ruled during a time of both glory and peril. He led campaigns against the Assyrians, the rising empire from Mesopotamia, who sought to dominate the Near East. Taharka built massive temples at Karnak, revived religious centers, and patronized the arts. Under him, Nubia and Egypt experienced a brief but powerful renaissance. The pyramids of Nubia, more numerous than those in Egypt, were built in this era, rising from the desert sands like eternal guardians. But the Assyrian tide was relentless. Despite brave resistance, the Kushites were driven south in 664 BCE. Egypt fell again, this time to foreign rulers. Returned to Nubia, though expelled from Egypt, the kingdom of Kush did not fall. The capital moved to Meru, deeper into the African interior, where iron flowed like water and the rain was more generous. Meru became the heart of a new Nubian golden age. Kushite queens called Kandakes now often ruled. They were warriors, diplomats, and priestesses. One such queen, Amenarines, famously defied the might of Rome. After Augustus annexed Egypt, Rome looked south. But when Roman forces tried to push into Kush around 25 BCE, Amenarines met them with spears and arrows. She struck a treaty with Rome that kept Kush free. Roman writers described her as a one-eyed queen of great courage. Her victory preserved Nubian independence for centuries more.